why. I wanna know why. Why you're the way you are. He's from the city, she's from the south. Two different chapters told miles out. The back row living in his White House. So many stories that I need to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why. Why you're the way you are. So many stories right in front of me. Some people climb to heights I've never seen. Too many falling down off their feet. These stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why. Why you're the way you are. Why you're the way you are. Why you're the way you are. Tiptoe around with face of a stranger. Quiet observer, never get too close. I see the world, but it's through this window. Another side to see, I'm ready to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why. Why you're the way you are. He's from the city, she's from the south. Two different chapters told miles out. The back row living in his White House. So many stories that I need to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why. Why you're the way you are. So many stories right in front of me. Some people climb to heights I've never seen. Too many falling down off their feet. These stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the Tiptoe around with face of a stranger. Quiet observer, never get too close. I see the world, but it's through this window. Another side to see, I'm ready to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. He's from the city, she's from the south. Two different chapters told miles out. The back row living in his White House. So many stories that I need to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. So many stories right in front of me. Some people climb to heights I've never seen. Too many falling down off their feet. These stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. Why you're the way you are. Why you're the way you Tiptoe around with face of a stranger. Quiet observer, never get too close. I see the world, but it's through this window. Another side to see, I'm ready to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. in front of me. Some people climb to heights I've never seen. Too many falling down off their feet. These stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. Why you're the way you are. Why you're the way you are. Tiptoe around with face of a stranger. Quiet observer, never get too close. I see the world, but it's through this window. Another side to see, I'm ready to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. He's from the city, she's from the south. Two different chapters told miles out. The back row living in his white house.
June, which seems, oh my goodness, how did we get through the month so quickly? So we've got a fun night tonight. We're gonna work through all the stuff that we got to get taken care of at the beginning here. So first thing I want to do is shout out to our sponsors. And I don't have it in front of me. I apologize. History Camp. I'm not going to be able to read your little thing. But History Camp is a sponsor. I'll try to find it and maybe read it midway at the end of the show. Thank you, History Camp. I'm sure they're excited to see Steam Patriots almost out the door. Also, Daytona Beach Comic Con coming up in September. Make your plans. Thank you, Tom and Daytona Beach Comic Con, for sponsoring Silverline Streams. Curtis, I'm going to put you on the spot. Tell them about our merch store, because I saw you drinking earlier.
Yes. So we have a merch store on Zazzle, the official merch store for Silverline Comics, and you can get lots of cool stuff like, as you see right here, this awesome Silverline mug with mouse on it.
Sweet.
I have the blue edition here, Midnight Blue, but if you take a look at my counterpart here in Los Angeles, Roberta Conroy, she has the Midnight Black edition. So you can get your own, you could say collector's item, because you get to pair the design with the inside color of what's inside of it. So check out our merch store on Zazzle. Absolutely. Definitely. I don't think so. Yeah. Yes, they're dishwasher safe.
On it really quick, and then let us know by the end of the show.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do a live feed of that. You know?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, just Curtis's dishwasher is going to be going thump, 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 thump.
Yeah, we'll hear it in the background. That'd be great.
So, Kickstarter update. So, Divinity 2 and Steam Patriots 1 Those files are already at Kablam, and they're in good shape. And I've seen some books, so they're getting ready to go out the door. Hopefully, I'll have them soon. I haven't actually followed up with Tommy to get an ETA on those, but we should be getting them fairly soon. Hopefully, start shipping here maybe next week after that, something like that. Early July is
We can talk about it a little bit.
Okay, sounds good. So, but the books look great, y'all. Tommy sneaked us some video. If I get his permission, we may sneak some video on.
I don't know.
Look at that! He's got one. Oh.
What?
You got showed up by the printer.
What?
I don't know what y'all are talking about. I'm busy. Y'all can I'll be back in a minute.
Now, is that the that's the flip version there right there, isn't it? I see both covers. Yeah, look at that.
Oop.
Nice. So
Let me
there you
get
go,
a better
y'all.
light over here. There we go.
Yeah.
Now we can see some stuff.
Yeah, that's the one thing I like about this. I was telling you about this new camera I have. It's got a little light on the camera.
Wow.
So you guys who back to Kickstarter?
I could do a preview. I could read it like I did for you guys on that little thing I did.
We'll skip that for now.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we need to go through and introduce ourselves. I am Roland. I am the chief cook and bottle washer, and I write Cat and Mouse. I write Trumps. I write Silverline Team Up, which hopefully we'll see some of tonight in various stages. I think, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I need to open up the stream to see what it looks like. But on my stream, I see Pete next. Pete, tell folks who you are.
Hello, I'm a penciler. I'm just a penciler. I pencil Silverline Team Up, Champion of Miss Fury, and I'm currently penciling issue 4 of Trumps. You will know me from penciling.
Fantastic.
Yes.
It's looking fantastic. Where's your hat?
Oh, I am currently displaced. I am not at home at the moment. I'm elsewhere, so I don't have my hat with me.
I knew your background looked different, but I wasn't. I'm like, well, maybe he just shifted around a little bit. Hopefully, displaced. You're okay, displaced.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're just away for a couple of days.
Are you on holiday again?
No. It's just there was a COVID outbreak at school.
No way.
Oh, no.
We're not school closed, so we've come away from home for a few days whilst I have to work from home.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Man. That's
You
so
should-
bueno.
You should be here in the States because apparently COVID is over here in the States.
Yeah.
Never over, apparently. There's always something else.
Yeah. I heard something on the news not too long ago that apparently someone was saying the masks are pointless now because it's the new strain. I'm sorry, not the mask, the vaccinations. Because it's the new strain now that it's out and getting everybody. So
The Delta variant, yeah.
I don't know. So, but yeah, well, stay safe, Pete.
Oh, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm fine.
Does this?
It just means I can draw all day now.
I was going to ask.
There
I was
you
like,
go.
I was like,
I'm back to
how do
drawing
I
again.
ask that without sounding?
Finally.
You know.
That means Trumps is getting knocked out.
Yeah, I'm banging them out now.
Yeah, and you know what? We said this the other day. Well, a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, I didn't realize Pete had done so much of Team Up issue 2 also.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
halfway
looking forward,
finished,
like,
yeah.
it's halfway done. I'm like, holy mackerel. So Pete's jamming. So I better not close my eyes, or he'll have both of these things done.
Yep.
So, all right, Pete. Thanks, man. Good to see you. Glad you're healthy and stay away from it. Tommy, tell folks who you are.
My name is Thomas Florimonte Jr. I've been doing comics since the early '90s. A lot of stuff with Roland when we were doing. He was my editor over at the Ultraverse Malibu Comics Ultraverse stuff. I did a lot of Nightman stuff over there. The Strangers. I did a bunch of bunch of stuff there. I've done some Marvel work. I've done a little bit for pretty much everybody. But currently, we finished the first 2 books of Trump's. When was it? Late last year, early this year? I can't remember when we finished it.
Yeah.
But
July-ish.
was it?
Yeah, I think maybe August, because you and I did a signing together, August, September, something like that,
Yeah.
didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but currently I am inking over Mr. Pete on doing the Champion Miss Fury book, which is looking very, very good. Wait till you guys see it.
Yeah.
Miss Roberta's doing the colors. She's knocking it out. It's looking great.
I'm telling you,
I don't know about the writing part of it, but the rest of it's looking really, really good.
Man, why you gotta hurt me, Tommy?
Oh, that's
Why
you?
you gotta hurt me?
Oh, I'm sorry. But then I'm also I'm gonna, as soon as we get done with this, I'm supposed to be inking the first issue of Rejects, and then I think I'm supposed to ink Pete's 4th
Trumps.
part of the Trumps thing, and then we'll get back to Champion Miss Fury. I don't know. It's a big tumble of stuff that we're working on.
Hey, if you think the detail on Champion Miss Fury is bad, I've got to draw battle scene after battle scene.
Oh, I've seen it. It's looking really, really, really
It's taking a long
super
time.
good.
isn't it?
But
And
I'm
I
also
promise
working
you,
with.
Tommy, hey, listen, the script did not say the Armada approaches.
So you will. Basically,
Draw
did.
so much stuff that it'll take forever. I'm also working with Dean Zachary on the Silver Blade stuff,
Yep.
and Curtis and I have been talking about working on something. So we're
What?
just doing something with everybody. So
Man,
a little bit of stuff, and then I got my own stuff over at Inferno Studios, my Kid Heroes stuff with all my Zomboy and my Little Nan So and all that kind of stuff.
I
And
always tell everybody I'm a big fan of Zomboy.
And if that wasn't enough, I'm the co-owner of Kablam Digital Printing. There we go, Kablam. I don't know if you can see it on the hat right there, Kablam. Which we print most of all of the Silverline stuff, and plus pretty much everybody else's stuff out there. And I get to sleep every now and again.
What's
No, you don't
that?
need sleep.
You do?
I have no idea. No idea
don't
when
need
sleep. See, I have to write it all down. There's so much stuff. I have a
Hey,
little
look at
cheat
you.
sheet of
Dude, I'm
stuff.
impressed. I am impressed. You
Well, I
came
had
with
to
notes.
cover up the bottom. There's some stuff that I can't talk about yet that still hasn't been released yet. There's I colored something that I'm not supposed to talk about yet because they haven't released it yet. But as soon as I do, I'll let everybody know.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, next up on my list here is John Prince Voltan. I can't see your. Oh, there it is. I was looking for it. The Artistic Viking, Martin. John, tell everybody who you are.
I'm John Martin. I'm an inker, and I've done some cover work also. Currently working on Wolf Hunter, and done 2 issues so far of Fry Rush. Got 1 more to do. And outside of here, you probably see my work either on a Dynamite sketch card or on an Upper Deck sketch card. And I'm working on some other stuff for Roland as well. And something else is going to get started rolling here in the infant stages that I've been talking with Quentin Bedwell about.
Very secretive today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, the stuff I'm working on right now that I have here at the table, I don't know if I can talk about it yet. I don't know if Roland says it's okay if I can talk about all the stuff I'm working on right now.
Which? Oh yeah, for the convention. Yes, you could absolutely.
Oh yeah, I've actually all the artwork I've been doing. I did a Divinity, a Seraph, and currently finishing up the pencils on Mouse so I can blue line it to clean it up and ink it, which is actually going to be the back.
I'm getting a little lag from John. Anybody else?
Is he breaking up?
Yeah, I didn't hear that
Okay.
last thing.
Yeah.
I'm doing artwork for the badges for Daytona Comic Con.
Yes.
Very cool.
That's cool.
Yes. It's gonna be very cool. Very, very excited about that. And there's going to be, there's actually going to be 3 different badges, and John's art will be representing Silverline on all 3 of them. I think, I don't hold me to this, but I think there's like a guest badge, a vendor badge, and an attendee badge.
I don't know. Do you want me to show the inks for Seraph?
You know, let's don't do that, because I'm not sure if Tom, if Daytona wants to do a reveal or
Okay.
Maybe
You know what I
maybe they
mean?
want to do it. Yeah.
yeah. So I before we do that, I'd like to make sure it's okay with him first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had to. Sorry about that. I had to step away a little bit. It was really warm in here, and I had to go adjust my air. Okay, so next up, Curtis. Tell everybody who you are, Curtis.
And he's washing
Curtis,
his
you're
mug.
muted.
Curtis is muted.
Curtis, you're muted.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. Well,
Did you go wash your mug?
Here we go.
Is that where
Round
you
2.
went?
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, I was watching the mug. I'm Curtis Fujita. I'm the creative director at Silverline. I'm also the creator of the comic book Shadow Ghost. I'm a kung fu instructor, so I'm calling it the Kung Fu comic by Kung Fu Master, and that's kind of what you'll see me working on a little bit today on the stream. So,
And that's what
That's
we're
me.
seeing right now, right, Curtis?
yes, that is
Yeah.
correct.
So, can you
for me.
tell us a little bit about this page?
Sure. So this is early on in the story, and essentially it's something, if you're a martial arts instructor, you've dealt with, which is basically when you tell the students not to spar when you've left the class, and instead they cause trouble and spar. So this is this is the Sifu, the instructor, coming back to see that his son has been bullying one of the younger students, and hijinks ensue. So that's
Is that
Yeah.
really something that happens when you step
Yes.
away? All of a sudden, the kids just start
oh well.
farting around. I guess.
Oh yeah.
I didn't. Cool.
Well, I have
guess.
students that are. I mainly teach adults, and I have students that are older than me. So I say it's my kids that are
Oh.
older than me. And I came back from a
It's-
trip from
it's-
going on vacation, and I found
It's adults
Yeah.
fighting. Yeah. Huh.
I found blood.
You-
Oh yeah, I found blood on the ground of the studio when I got in, and I found out somebody had punched somebody else
No
in the nose.
way.
And they thought it was cool that there was blood. Yeah, they thought it was cool. These are guys in their 50s, mind you. So they thought it was cool that there was blood on the floor. And so I had to have a talk with them about cleaning up the blood from somebody's
Their
nose off the
mess.
ground, and not to spar while I wasn't there. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny.
So
That's
but
funny.
while the cat's away, the mice play.
That's right.
Yeah, they thought it was a blood sport arena.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, all right. Well, thank you, Curtis. Roberta.
Hi.
Tell us who you are.
Well, I'm just a colorist too. Gotta go with it.
Nice.
Well, that's with lately I've been doing the Silverline crew Cat and Mouse, and the new Silverline team up Champion Miss Fury, which we have been talking about quite a bit because
Yeah.
it is close.
Yes.
Very cool. Yeah.
And the whole team's here, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. Yeah. It's fantastic. That book is looking so good. So, and hopefully we'll see
Anyway.
some colors from that a little bit
Mhm.
later this evening. So we have
Definitely,
somebody special with us tonight.
Oh, hi. Thank you.
I'm not seeing him on the stream
Oh,
screen.
I mean,
Or is it Pete?
Uh,
Pete or me?
so-
Which Pete or me? Thomas or Pete? Who is it?
So one of the things that's been kind of fun to see Silverline do over the last year is, or year plus, is just the kind of the growth that we've had. I know I tell people sometimes that when I kind of first restarted Silverline, I really just wanted to. It was just a name that I just wanted to make comics. I'm like, I teach during the day, and I love comics, so I want to make comics. And but I was encouraged to make it more than just me making comics. Like, yeah, but that's a lot of work. I don't know that I want to do that. And over time, though, it's been fun and it has grown phenomenally, so that we've got, I can't even count the number of books, more than a dozen that are in production right now. And it's fun. There's an incredible, as you guys have seen on these streams, there's an incredible host of talent that has been assembled, and it's just a lot of fun. So part of what, as a result of that, is that we have been, when we first started streaming more than a year ago now, we were just doing one night a week. And there got to be so many of us on there, it was just you can't really stream with 12 people all trying to talk at the same time. So we split into two, and just this past week, we split into three. And as part of that, he's disappeared. As part of that, we have a producer now who is producing two of our, and he disappeared. Where did he go? I'm getting ready. I'm giving him his big introduction, and he disappears. So yeah, we have a producer now who's producing two of our shows. Carlos, can you pop your face on, or are you going to stay shy?
I am here. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yes, I can
I
hear
can see
you.
him on the screen.
All right.
Oh, I see you now. Yep, you just popped up.
Perfect.
So Carlos, introduce yourself. Tell the folks who you are. Tell them a little bit about you and who you are and what makes you tick.
All right. Well, my name is Carlos Cerda. As you said, I guess I can put this on now for a second. I'm trying to make sure the live stream is actually working okay, so I usually work with one headphone off.
Is he muted? Oh, there you are.
Yeah, no. So my name is Carlos Cerda. I own the business known as New Armor Productions, and I am actually a former student of Roland Mans at Full Sail University, which is how I came to know that awesome man that you see on the screen down there. When I first met him, I didn't know that, I knew I wanted to write. Comic book writing was not something that I had, kind of saw as a pathway to creativity that I wanted to kind of go down the road towards. But he made me realize, hey, that is very much a possibility. And you can see that now with all of this talent that is currently assembled on the screen right now. Y'all are doing some fantastic things at Silverline. And when I saw that, I wanted to kind of put myself out there and say, hey, I think I can do these streams for you. I see that you're putting stuff up on YouTube, and so that's where we're at. That's where we're at now.
Cool. So you are, I don't know how much you can talk about it. You said New Armor is the name of it?
So New Armor Productions is the streaming service that I run.
Okay.
Essentially what it is it's a way for creators, digital creators, to bypass all of the technical side of streaming. There are so many options now available to streamers that make it to where somebody else can run it from you remotely. And I want to say, out of all of the terrible things that COVID gave us, this was actually one of the true blessings, I think, that era really gave us, was that we had to learn to work remotely, right?
Yep.
And so because of that, a lot of tech guys really got together and started saying, how can we keep people together, and how can we keep them working together even though they're miles apart? And so a lot of the technology that came out in this recent year has really made it possible for people to stream from all over the places. You have guests, you have artists and writers that are all over the country. And so it allows me to be able to actually sit behind the scenes and run a stream for somebody who otherwise would normally be trying to multitask, trying to host and trying to take care of your stream and making sure that it's running optimally like it should be. That's definitely a juggling act that a lot of people can't handle. And so New Armor Productions hopes to be able to kind of take that variable out of the equation and sit back here behind the scenes and run the streams for everybody so that they can just get on and talk and do and share what they love with the world.
Well, and I know from personal experience when I tried to use the OBS stuff, that was, and I'm a tech guy. I like technology. Now, Tommy will yell at me about phones. I don't really like cell phones, but I like technology, right? I like tech. But when I
got a cell phone last year, I think.
Yeah, but I don't know where it is half of the time.
Oh.
I
know you don't answer it when I call.
Well, it's because I usually don't know where it is. I 90% of the time I just use it for shows, or if I run out to the grocery store or run an errand for BJ. She's like, take your phone in case you have questions, because she doesn't want me to come back with the wrong thing. Actually, really quick story. The last couple of times I went grocery shopping, she sent me a text that had pictures of everything she wanted me to get, along with a number beside how many of them. You talking about? I'm like, I told her, I came back. I'm like, you know what? I don't really mind shopping that way because I know exactly what you want, and I don't have to stand there, because I hate standing at the aisle going, okay, does she want that one, or does she want that one, or does she want that one? They all look kind of the same to me,
You guys do know that there's a service called Instacart that does that for you. You could pay somebody to go do your shopping.
Yeah, you can pay somebody. I don't have that kind of. I'm a teacher, dude. I don't have that kind of money.
No, they don't charge all that
much. So anyway, this is all about OBS, and so I was trying to figure that out, and I was just kind of lost as to what it, without jumping on the YouTube, which I was pretty sure I could do. But so I had to call my son. I'm like, Brett, you got to help me, because he uses OBS to stream his gaming. He's a PUBG pro gamer, and so I'm like, you got to show me how to do all this. So he set basically the bare bones up. He said, okay, push this button when you do that, push this button when you do that. And I'm like, I got that. But I was doing it, and there's so many other things I wanted to do, but I couldn't do it because I had to, I felt like I needed to pay attention to the stream rather than trying to push the button. So when you came along, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll listen. Let's talk.
Exactly. And that's the headache that, I really want to help people with. And because I feel like there is so much potential out there for people who want to share what they're doing with the world, but just are lost when it comes to the tech side of things. And I really hate that's the case. So whatever we can do to help people, get out there, that's definitely what we're aiming for.
So, New Armor Productions, right?
Yes, sir.
And you are available. You are here tonight, but you are not Silverline exclusive. So you are available if folks are like, I've always wanted to do a stream, but I don't know how to do it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So they can go to newarmormedia.com and find us there. And then just kind of scroll down the page. I put up some examples of things that we've done in the past, and request kind of just a demo, and we can kind of set up a stream with you, walk you through what it's going to look like, and you can decide if it's something for you or not.
Yeah, which is what you did with me. We spent probably an hour. You said, let me show you what this can do, and we got on here and spent an hour. You just showing me what this was, and then we even did a test run. I guess, was it last week? I guess we did last week. We had a bunch of folks kind of jump on, and so you could push some buttons. And I know we're a particular challenge for you.
Hey, you know what? I'm all for it though. I love a challenge, and my mind automatically goes to problem solving mode, and so I enjoy it. I really do.
Good. Well, we appreciate you, man, and appreciate you being behind the scenes. So, y'all, Carlos is going to be. He's going to be here. He's going to be unseen, but he's going to be turning the knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes. And if you want to do something like this, please reach out to newarmormedia.com and hit Carlos up and say, hey, let's talk. See what you can do for me. Thank you, Carlos. He's already gone, any. Okay, so you know, this is all about growth. What do you guys give me some? What are you feeling about some of this? You guys have seen, all of you have been here for this this whole year. What are you seeing? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? You know, talk to me.
I don't know.
All right.
You know,
Well,
I'm very not surprised is not the word, but I am very happy with all of the different types
I
of
think-
books
I
that
think it's-
Silverline is doing. I think it's really cool to see all of the stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be included.
I like seeing how everybody's kind of. Sorry, go ahead.
Curtis, I think you must have a little lag. You sound like you're joining us about 5 seconds later, in our pauses. So we'll all pause for you to speak now.
Okay. Thanks. No, I was gonna say I think it's cool to see everybody's kind of different spheres of influence and connections kind of cross. You know, we have the whole Malibu background, and it's just really cool to see, you know, people from the Kubert School coming in, and everybody's just kind of feeding off each other's energy and, you know, building up, you know, something pretty sizable. So I think it's great, and it's all positive too. I think that's nowadays we need more positivity, and it's just great to see how positive and enthusiastic everybody is about their projects.
Yeah.
So that's my take.
Yeah, I think so. I think two of you mentioned Malibu, and I think that, you know, part of what, when we started talking about this, part of me, you know, there's never going to be another Malibu. Malibu is Malibu. It is what it is, and it was. I loved Malibu, and I know that I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty certain that I speak for, you know, Roberta and Curtis being on staff there. That was a fantastic place. Of course, Tommy did a lot of work.
It was great.
Yeah,
Did he?
yeah. What's that?
Did
Yeah.
he?
Tommy, yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Pete, you remember? Are you familiar with Nightman that Englehart wrote for the Ultraverse?
I'm going to say yes because I feel like I should.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Tommy inked a whole bunch of those. Yeah, you should.
Right.
A lot of it. A bunch of it, not
Pete-
just a lot of it. A bunch of it.
Pete, I'll next time I do a show, I'll look for some Nightman in the cheap boxes and send some your way.
Okay.
Send some your way the next time I send you, you know,
Yes.
books. But you know, I bring up Malibu to say that, you know, we're not. There's only one Malibu. We're not trying to be Malibu. But if we could do anything, what I would like to do, and I've told these guys this before, I would love to capture the spirit that Malibu had in the late 80s and the early 90s. That spirit of independence, that spirit of, you know, we can do what the big boys can't do. You know, and they just kind of did everything. You know, I tell people sometimes when they said, so what was the difference between when you were an editor for Malibu and when you were an editor for Marvel? Marvel bought Malibu, and that I became a Marvel editor by purchase. And so the difference was, I tell them this, okay, so as a Malibu editor, if Curtis had an idea for a project, he could come to me, and if he could sell me on as the editor, he could sell me on the project. I could take it to Chris Alm, who's the editor-in-chief, and you know, if he liked it, these guys are really easygoing. So let me be clear about that. But essentially, the question they would ask is, can it make money? And if the answer to that question was yes, then I'd say, okay, well, let's do it. When I went to Marvel, same scenario, right? Or when Marvel purchased it, when Marvel purchased Malibu, same scenario, right? Curtis comes to me And I say, yes, let's go, let's try to do it. We take it to Chris Ulm, we take it to the powers that be. The question became, how much money can we make? And I know for some of you, you're like, yeah, well, what's the difference? Well, there's a big difference, because to Malibu, it was about, can we not lose money? Can we make some money on it? There wasn't a question about, well, how much money can we make? It's like, well, can we make money? And if the answer was yes, it's like, let's move forward. But when Marvel got in, it was how much money can we make? It wasn't about, can we just make money? It's like, how much can we make? And often there was like, well, that's not enough money. We need to make more, and so we're not going to do it. Somebody else chime in.
Well,
I don't know how.
It's something I wanted to say was, for the creative side, it was, I think, so much more encouraging than what I can picture it was like, with a bigger company, with more at stake.
Yeah.
I feel like the enthusiasm and the respect for the creatives was what drove the heart of it and made it, really a great place to be.
Yeah. 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 I tell someone, the Malibu was it was not located in Malibu, but it was located in California. And, folks will ask me about the dress code sometimes. And I said, the dress code was, you had to wear shoes. And yet we had several people who would come in flip-flops, and they would park their I'm thinking particularly Roby of Ed Hendricks. Ed would come in, and he'd park his flip-flops under his desk, and he'd walk around the office barefooted. So my father-in-law says, Roland Man, the big dummy, hello, what's up, Screw Loose? Tommy's like, why do you do that? Hey, I just got a message from Restream, and it says, we have received 100 messages today with Restream chat. So I guess through all the chat messages via Restream. That's interesting. Rob Davis! What's up, Rob Davis? Stephen Brown, what's going on, y'all? So, all right, so still talking about growth. What do you guys, is there anything that, if you look down the road with Silverline, is there anything you're like, I hope this doesn't happen, or or I'm afraid this is going to happen, or, I want to see this kind of thing happen, or I hope we do this, or I hope we do that?
I just hope it stays fun. I mean, I think the moment it's not fun and people lose the side of the process being the rewarding part, then that's when it's kind of a warning sign. But I don't see that happening with this group. I think everybody here is more here because we just love what we do than anything else, So
yeah, I'm just getting way too comfortable with you guys.
It is fun.
No such thing.
I hope that didn't mean that I end up scaring everybody off.
Yeah. If they're still here with your Prince Voltan look, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
It is funny that you mentioned fun, because that's I remember reaching out to both actually Roberta and Pete, and saying this is important to me that you have fun, because in all honesty, I don't know what else. I mean, I don't feel comfortable making any other promises other than we're going to try to have fun. I want us to sell lots of comics, and I think we're all going to make the best effort to do so. But it's a fickle market, and you just never know what's going to go on and who's going to like what, and you just can't, you can't make those kind of prognostications. And so, just make sure you're having fun. And if you're not having fun, I think you're right, Curtis. I think that's, you got to make sure you figure out how to have that fun.
If I can interject, I had a really interesting discussion this past week with some people I know in the animation industry, and one of them worked on the show Bob's Burgers, if you're familiar with
Yeah.
Bob's Burgers, and he was saying that they won their Emmy, and the head of the show, the showrunner, as soon as they won their Emmy, kind of pulled everybody together and had a heart-to-heart talk with them, and he said, this doesn't change anything. He basically said the awards, the accolades, they come and go. We don't want to base our success on this award. And he essentially said, all our goal is to keep making a show that we can be proud of and keep making episodes we're proud of. And, awards and accolades come and go. They may be here, they may not. But your job and my job is to make good work.
Yeah.
And he was the first person to say that. And I was like, wow, that's the big difference between a manager and a leader, a supervisor and a leader, right? There's tons of supervisors, there's tons of managers, but leaders are few and far in between. And I had so much respect when I heard that he said that, because that's really the name of the game, in my opinion.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I thought that was cool, Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. The difference between someone who says just get it done and the other one says let's be proud of what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For me, it's I like doing comics with my buddies.
Yeah.
So it when I mentioned to you that I find me something to work on, right?
Yeah.
We were at a show or whatever, weren't we? And I'm like, I want to ink something. Just find something.
You did.
And you go, well, how about we do this Trump's book? And I'm like, what? And you're like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And I just want to work on books with my with people I like. I want to have a good time. I want to have fun. I've been doing this for a long time. I've got a job, with Kablam, and this is just fun stuff. I like, I can't knock out 2 or 3 books a month like I used to do, because I'm a little busy, but and I love hanging out with you guys. I love doing our streams, with the Wednesday guys, you guys. It's just, I like having a good time, and you've lined me up with a bunch of fun stuff to ink, except for Pete draws too much stuff. But other than that, everything is looking really good. We're gonna have to talk to Pete about not drawing so much stuff.
You know what? I forgot to put in.
And didn't he say no? He's still going to draw.
Yeah, he's drawing
Do
double
more
the
stuff,
amount of
Peter.
stuff.
More stuff, Peter.
More stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to leave space for the lettering. I've learned I've got to try and leave a little bit more space for the lettering.
Oh, did you see that that meme that Brad Tomty shared?
Yes.
The one had the balloon over Padme's
all over the
face.
Oh,
Got to leave more space.
Yeah. That was fantastic. You know what, Tommy? You know what I forgot to include in Trump's number 4 for Pete. I should have gone back in there. I forgot.
Fire engine?
he's
Fire
got
engines.
it done. You can still add stuff.
I forgot to put fire engines in there.
That's fine.
Oh, that's right. He loves fire engines.
Because now I have to draw big
And water
battles.
towers.
I have water towers.
Yeah, I know water towers. Just armies and armies and armies.
Is there also windmills? Is that another one? Or am I
No.
just
Windmills?
guessing?
There will be
I
no
don't, hey,
tilting.
hey, Tommy, we can compare who had to draw more stuff when I show you some pages that I'm doing for AJ.
I've seen a little bit of it. Yeah, you've got a lot of stuff to ink.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah, those are good looking pages.
Looking good. Yep.
Yeah. Rob Davis said, at Malibu, the editors and I had a relationship. The editor I had at Marvel talked about me behind my back, saying my art was too quiet. They never said anything to me about how they felt about my work. Yeah, that's a shame. You know, I have heard that from that kind of thing from multiple artists who worked with Marvel and DC, and that's unfortunate. You know, I think it ought to be about communication. You know, I remember, of course. Now I knew Tommy before. Tommy, I gotta skirt this issue real carefully here. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So I knew Tommy before he did work, before I hired him to do stuff at Malibu. But now Tommy inked a penciler at Malibu, and everybody in the office loved it. I mean, I got the pages in, I showed them around. All the editors loved it. You know, everybody who saw the pages loved it.
The fans were loving it.
The fans were loving, but the penciler did not like it, and he's just like, he just doesn't get what I'm trying to do with my line. And I'm like, you know, and so I had a conversation with him. I said, I understand that it's not exactly, he's not tracing you,
Yeah.
but the final product looks really, really good, and everybody likes it. You just don't understand, artist, penciler, how much everybody's goo-gooing and gaga over these pages. And the penciler was like, well, you know, I just, you know, I don't like it. And I think the penciler then called Tommy, right, and had a conversation with you about different things and shadows and stuff like that. Am I misremembering that?
No, I never spoke to him. It was
okay.
No, I never spoke. I have not. I have never spoke to that guy.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, sure hadn't.
Well,
I mean, even as of today, I've seen him a couple of shows, but I don't think he even knows who I am. So,
Oh,
Wow.
I'm curious.
Oh, yeah.
Off air.
Yeah.
Off air.
yeah.
Off
Yeah.
air.
No.
oh, nothing bad, nothing bad. You know, I mean, he had a style, and then you guys wanted it inked a particular
Yeah.
clean, Batman-y looking way, right?
Yeah.
And
And it looked great.
Yeah, so that's what I did.
You know, the thing about it is, look at the published books.
Yes.
Look at the books that were published. They look fantastic.
Yeah.
But the penciler didn't like them, and ultimately, he was like, okay, well, you know, either we get another inker or I'm gone. And so it was one of those things. I just, you know, I had talked to Tommy about it before, and you know, so he knew what was going on. It didn't catch him off guard.
No. And y'all had me something else to do this, and I'm like, all right, fine, that's cool.
But it was
and
one of
then
those things. It was just frustrating because.
And then eventually he was gone a couple of issues later, and you put me back on the book. See,
Right.
there you go. I won.
Yeah. So anyway, so I see that we changed we changed art. So Tommy, tell us what we're looking at here. Tommy's is inking, right?
This is
look at that
from Champion Miss Fury team up, Silverline team up. This is Mr.
Wow.
Pete. He's this is his pencils. Roberta is coloring it. I think she's going to show some of her colors on stuff. This is
Roland,
page.
I don't want to be this guy, but we need to talk about the inker on this book.
Yeah, I don't know what the inker's whining about. It doesn't look like that
I'm
much.
not sure
I
what he's
knew it.
head.
I'm turning.
don't-
I'm gone.
you don't think he
I'm
gets
going back
your
to
eye?
Wednesday. Bye. Going back to the Wednesday show. Those guys love me over there. I don't know about you guys. We have an understanding on the Wednesday
It's
show.
great,
I don't
Tommy.
know.
Don't you
what's
worry.
going-
Don't you worry. We'll support you.
I think it's looking really cool. Pete, you've done a really good job. And as the, you know, from the beginning to towards the end now of this issue, the pencils are kicking butt, and I saw some of issue 2, and I'm like, you can ask Roland when you started doing that, and I've mentioned it to you before when you did, like, there's a splash page with a character that I don't know if Roland wants to talk about or not.
Let's
And I'm
not
like,
talk about it yet.
yeah, and I'm like, can I just quit inking this book and jump on to the next one? Because that's what I want. Because that looks so
No.
neat. And Roland's like, no, you've got to finish this one. And I'm like, no, I don't know if I have to or not. Do I really? Do I got to finish this one? I want to get onto that one. That one's so cool. That splash page. You know the one I'm talking about, Pete, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what I'm talking. And wait till people see that. That is so cool. But
I
your
wouldn't
your
be
stuff
mad
is
if you did it out of
beautiful.
order. You could do it out of order if you need
No.
to.
Stop. Shh. Roberta, stop. No.
Yeah,
We have to finish the first issue first.
Mutiny.
He can't jump over to issue 2 yet. We have to finish issue 1.
We got to finish one. Yep. So this is
Oh,
This is page 20.
Do it
So
all.
I've got 21 and 22 to still ink. You can see that this page is almost done.
And then that's
Roberta,
it.
you're working on coloring. You're up. You
I
almost
am
caught
on
me, right?
18. I am
Wow.
on 18 and 19.
So we'll be
I'm
done pretty
starting
quick.
19. Mhm.
I'm going to have this one done tonight. I'll start on the next one. I think I showed the next one a second ago. There we go. I'm almost. I mean, this one will go a whole lot quicker, but the last page is a big pin up. A big splash page, so I don't want to show the conclusion of the story.
Mhm.
Wow.
So we're not going to show that, but that'll be available on the Kickstarter because we're going to put that page up for a reward. Reward? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
That just
yeah.
sounds so weird to say. It's a reward. You're going to.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not.
love
uh,
I
I'm
love
not
the
going to
way
miss
Pete,
storing that he's 90s gear.
I love that. I love all that.
So Pete,
It
what's
does
the deal with all these canisters and these bombs
I
and all
don't
this
know.
kind of stuff? What is all of this?
I don't
What
know
is all
what they
this?
are.
It looks like tribute to Rob Liefeld.
Yeah,
That's what I'm going for.
the
That's
pages
what
were
I
going
basically
so
went for.
quick. The pages
I
were
thought,
going quick, and then I
Just
got
give him
these last
pouches
5
and
pages.
canisters and I don't know what. And yeah,
What the-
he's
what-
not getting Roland. He's not having that back.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, no.
Don't write that back in.
Yeah, yeah, he doesn't hang on to that. I
Oh,
love
good.
the way
Woo!
Tommy, zoom up on that last panel again. I love the way Pete's penciled that. He arted the sound effect in with that.
Yeah, I
just
see that.
love
I just
That's
noticed that
cool.
earlier today, and I
Yeah.
was figuring out how I was going to ink that in such a way where it was still, I hadn't quite figured out what I was going to do with it yet. So
Yeah, I love that.
yeah, I saw that. It says Blam.
Can
It says BLAM. Could I put a KA in front of it, like Kablam?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
And then
just put it to the left of where the B is now.
We go KA. Blam.
can I make a request? Do you think we might be able to get as an alternate cover a 90s cover of him in that outfit and just make it like chromium and really obnoxious, like as
We
90s
can
as
print
possible?
chromium.
know,
We do metallic covers over at Kablam now. We
With like a
definitely could do that.
With the scantily clad woman in a pose that's like breaking her back. Just to kind of,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
Can we do
Yeah,
like a super
what-
90s
one
cover?
of
Oh, we
those-
do have that one cover, right?
The Blinken one, yeah.
No,
Yes.
no, the Butler cover.
Oh yeah, where he's kicking kicking the door. Mhm.
Yeah,
Kicking.
Oh, that's a theme.
that has
Yep.
Tommy, you're talking about one of those, just like all the whole big shoulder pads, the huge monster gun walking up at it. The feet are covered by something.
Smoke.
Yeah.
Always smoke. Always smoke there for some
There's
reason.
no feet. Yeah, he left the feet out.
The
This is
big
a Rob
flare
Liefeld.
on the gloves.
Oh.
I would
And
love that.
Pouches, tons of pouches.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, the pouches.
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
I like the swords. Yeah, this is a killer page. This is pretty cool. But we've got a bunch of when that we do run the Kickstarter. There is a bunch of as everybody's watching it. I am inking it digitally, but it's still we did 4, 5, 6 pages on paper that will be available for Kickstarter rewards. So so I didn't ink it all on paper or on digital. Yeah.
Yeah, so not every page will be available for the original inks, but there'll be a handful of them. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Very, very cool. Rob Davis says, my first inking job, the penciler hated my inks, and through the editor, he let me know it. It's why I, to this day, have trouble inking other people's work. It turned me off to inking, and I then concentrated on penciling, in which you have done a fantastic job, Rob. For those of you who are like, man, that name sounds familiar. I know Rob. Rob Davis is the longtime industry artist, and he is penciling and inking Twilight Grim for us. So, and if you haven't gotten Twilight Grim, shame on you. Issues 1 and 2 are available, and Rob is actually working on finishing up the 4th issue. We haven't even kickstarted number 3, and Rob's working on number 4. Number 3 is with Mickey Clausen, who is coloring it. So, all right, you guys got any? My clock says top of the hour. You guys got anything else to say about?
I got
Rose?
a question. question,
cool.
though.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about the different jobs, different tasks in comic books and stuff like that. And I mean, on a good day, I don't think anybody needs advice, like in terms of if everybody's on the same page. But you're talking about that. How much do you feel it's collaboration? How much do you feel it's following to the T what the person before you said? And is that personal preference, or is there some type of middle ground as far as everybody should kind of have some wiggle room? I'd just be curious what everybody's thoughts are on that.
So when I'm drawing Trump's number 4 now, so I've got here. Let me just pull it out from under my laptop. I've got Trump's 1 and 2, which is always next to me because I'm trying to stay faithful to how the characters looked in the first 2 issues, because I can only see the first 2 issues. So they sort of, it makes sense when you look at my work, you know who the characters are. But at the same time, I'm still drawing in they're still my style of character and how they look. So I guess it's collaborative in that sense, from the penciler's point of view, from my point of view. When it comes to the inkers, I just let Tommy do whatever he wants, basically. I trust that he knows what he's doing, so I mean, I might be wrong to do that, but I trust he knows what he's doing, and he just, whatever you want to do it. Do the inker. Same with the colorist.
I'll try not to mess it up. Yeah, I don't try to pass on to Roberta. Like, you do what you want. You know how to color way better than I do. I'm not telling you what to do. You kicking the stuff that you're doing is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
I'm so happy.
You.
Yeah.
Thank you. But you know what? You can say something if there's a tone that I missed.
You
that's
colored
all.
something really bad. I saw
yeah.
on page 7. You got the guy with the purple background. I don't like that color. Can you make it yellow?
No, I will not do that.
Okay, well then I'll shut up. Then.
That's my prerogative. But what I'd say is, like, say it's nighttime and you're the only one that knew it was nighttime.
Yeah.
I have like stuff like that. I can't always tell if it's not written in or something like that. And half the time I don't get the script beforehand, or at least the actual words. The words.
Oh, the words. Yeah.
The words in the captions, not the script.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the story script is an arc, and that's fine. There's plenty of detail in there.
Okay.
But what if there's something you didn't say?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because
so I welcome input like that, where it's like, I was really hoping this would be, different time of day or something like that.
Yeah, and for me, I think my only when it comes to colors, my only input is ever really kind of in the initial colors of characters, costumes and stuff like that. But once that, it's like, okay, yeah, we've got that done. Well, I don't know how to. I mean, that's all on Roby. She knows how to do it, right? Or whoever's coloring it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And yeah, I tried to. One of the things I've tried to start doing. So we do. So not, I shouldn't say we. I like to work Marvel style or plot first whenever I can. That's not always possible. Obviously, the shorter stuff is usually easier to write. Panel to panel, because there's just so much you've got to fit in a short story. But I like that because for me personally, I like the collaborative. I like what it does with the story, rather than me saying, hey, page 1, panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, panel 4. I just say page 1, this is what happens. And in this case, Pete, but the pencilers are going to far better know how to make that look exciting than I can by saying panel 1, panel 2, this is what happens. I mean, I can do that, but why would I do that? Because I feel, this is my opinion, of course, I feel like I'm kind of tying Pete's hand behind his back to saying, here's what I want you to here's the what's going to go in each panel. If I just say, hey, here's what's happening, he could bring that to life because that's what he does, right? I mean, that's part of his strength as a storyteller. And so I would much rather do that and then play off of his art with the dialogue that goes on the page, right? It's like, oh, I can see what's there, so I get to play off of what's there, rather than possibly Hulk hits Thor with a mighty blow. Well, I can see that. So
No, that's good to know.
yeah.
I saw an interview once with like Jet Li, who's one of my favorite martial arts actors, and somebody asked him, they said, well, what's it like to play the hero? What's it like to play the hero? And he goes, it's not just me. He goes, it's the cameraman that sets up the camera shot. It's the guy that takes the fall. It's the lighter. It's the person who's lighting. I don't think a lot of people understand how much this stuff is collaborative. So I think that's really interesting insight you guys have. So thanks.
Yeah. And I think that, and I know that this is something that they talk about at the Kubert School. So a lot of the QBs, they're kind of prepped for this kind of thing. But when you talk to someone who's never done that before, sometimes collaboration can be tough because they're like, well, that's not what that's not what I. Okay, yeah, no, it's not exactly what you did, but it's collaborative. It's a combination of a penciler and an inker and a colorist to get this final look, and there's gonna be a part of you in it, but it's not all of you. If you've got three artists working on it, then it's 33% you and 33% the inker, 30. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so when you've never done that, I think that's hard for a young artist to say, this is not what I'm used to. It's like, no, you're used to seeing your own stuff. And, I've seen some, and then we'll move on to the next topic. I've seen some pencilers who ink their own stuff, and then when you put a good inker on them, they're like, yeah, that's not really what I envisioned. And I'm like, yeah, but if you look at your stuff, you use the ballpoint pen to ink it, and it doesn't look very good. It's like, you don't understand what the difference between thick and thin lines. What the heck, But it's all they've ever seen, and so it shocks their system a little bit when they see that, because they're like, well, that's not me. Like, no, it's better.
How much do you think it's also that it, for the most part, it's a fairly solitary workspace? The penciler rarely works in the same workplace as the inker, so forth and so on. Do you think that contributes potentially?
Say again. I'm sorry, I was distracted by a message that came up.
Sure. No, I was going to say, and it's for everybody, but I mean, do you think that that's kind of inherent just in the fact that it's people doing their work solitary? This guy's working on the pencils in his home. This person's working on the inks here. It's different than being in a studio, right? Day in, day out, I guess.
Yeah, I'd love to be in a studio. I miss when we were at school. There was 20 of us all drawing, and it's a really great atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
You just talk, and time passes so much quicker.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I've shared studios with several really good artists, pencilers and stuff, and when it is really fun to be doing stuff, but then you can waste a lot of time when you're not when you're not paying attention, or you let things slip by, and so sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good. It depends on who you got in your studio space with you.
The infamous ping pong games at Extreme Studios, right?
Well, that's what they did, I think.
Yeah, they played ping pong.
I always wanted a foosball table in our studio, but I was the only one that liked to play foosball. So,
really?
A good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing we didn't get one.
Yeah. I think to answer your question, Curtis, I think that has some to do with it as well. And for me, that's part of why I like the Silverline streams, is because it kind of keeps us all, connected. It's not a studio, but we get to sit and hang out and talk about stuff for a couple hours, and
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. This has been really cool opportunity that we've all had that we can, especially during COVID and stuff, because we kind of started all this stuff, the streams at the beginning of COVID, right? It was pretty much happened at the same time, and it's been really good. And I think for some of us that have been working for a while, and can show some of the people that are kind of new, just to get the stuff done. I think it's probably helped everybody. It's been kind of exciting, and so I very much appreciate doing this. Now, it's drove my wife crazy every doing the Wednesday show, because if anybody's has watched the Wednesday show, we get a little off topic and a little crazy over there, and my wife will be in the back room. She's like, "Shut up! You yelling and talking too much." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And then she would jump on the show to see what we were talking about. She says, "You're not even talking about comic books anymore. You're talking about going ghost hunting or something." Going ghost hunting or watch or Star Wars movie or something like that. But it's been a whole lot of fun. I really, really love you guys. It's been fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
Here.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. So, to sum up, growth. It scares me a little bit as to the number of titles that we have, ongoing right now, and I look at them all and going, and I think to myself, how on earth are we going to get all this done? That's the first thing that comes to my mind when I see all these things going. But the other part of me is like, this is a lot of fun. There's a lot of people doing a lot of cool things, and this is a lot of fun here. And that's what I want to do. I want to be having fun. If I'm going to spend my time doing something, I want to spend my time having fun. So,
absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to the way we're growing. And who knows what's next, but I'm sure something's going to happen. I'm going to go, how are we going to do that? and we'll figure it out, right?
Well, Roland, sorry to interrupt, but I don't know if you saw, but on YouTube, and this happened last week too. I apologize last week for not paying more attention. Stephen Brown's been commenting, and Stephen just wanted to let us know that he said he's signing up on an application for a space in Artist Alley at MegaCon. This would be his second time he'll be selling his art there, but the first time he'll be selling his comic. Does anybody have any advice? Any advice on that?
Learn not to be shy.
Learn to talk. You've got to talk. Talk. You got to talk to everybody that walks by. Don't hide behind the table. I see so many people hiding behind the table when they're at a show. You got to be able to talk.
Yeah.
Talk. Sell your book.
Yeah. Don't keep your head down, and don't show people the top of your head. Show them your face. Engage in everybody. 9 out of 10 of them, if not more, will not engage you, and obviously will not buy your book. But you need to speak to them, say hello, wish them a good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever. And don't be afraid to ask them, hey, can I tell you about my comic? And you'll find that if you reach out to like that, 50-50 shot that they're going to say, oh, that sounds interesting. I'll give it a shot. We did the mall thing here not too long ago. And of course, there's just a lot of mall walkers. Tommy was there, Brent was there, Haley was there, John Crowther was there. And that's one of the things that I was saying there is like, hey, can I tell you about my comic? And you'd be surprised at the number of people who would say, no, thank you. No, thank you. But the thing about it is, you got to make them tell you that, because some of them said, sure, go ahead. And of those few that said, sure, go ahead, a couple of those bought the book. It's funny because one of the guys bought Trump's because Tommy was sitting right beside me, and after he bought it, I said, so would you like it signed? Yeah, I can sign it. And Tommy's right there. He goes, oh no. And he took the book and he rolled it up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
sacrilege.
he rolled it up
Sacrilege.
and just carried it off like that. I'm like,
You're like,
Oh,
okay.
that hurts.
yeah.
That
I'm like,
hurts.
that's the guy who is gonna read the comic.
That's what John Lucas does with some books.
He rolls them up.
Yeah, he's like their comics. They're funny books.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
So it didn't bother me. It was just that I hadn't seen someone. I did that with my comics when I was a kid before I knew any better. And I hadn't seen someone do that with comics in a long, long time. And when he did that, I was just kind of like, oh, I hit Tommy on the shoulder. I'm like, dude, look what he's doing with his comics.
Ruining the book. Don't ruin it, because
He's
did
gonna
the
enjoy
did
it,
the
though.
inking and then Kablam printed it. It's like you've hurt my feelings two ways here. You ruined.
Yeah. Rob Davis said about this for Steven. He said, either learn to talk or bring along someone with you who will. And that's a great,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not a talker, bring someone who is.
Also, if you're an artist, draw at your table.
You got to. You have to. Yeah.
Because people will want to stop and watch you.
They sure will.
Yeah.
They sure will.
But here's I'm going to put an asterisk on that, John. Is that if you're an artist drawing at your table, you can't ignore the people who walk by.
No.
You got to have the radar. Yeah,
Right.
radar has got to be on.
In that peripheral vision, you see somebody starting to walk by, look up and, hey, how's it going? How y'all doing?
Mhm, yep.
And just kind
How you doing? That's what you need.
of, how you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Ryan Permission says, "What's up, Roland? What's up, Ryan? Hey, man, I'm still anxious to come talk to you sometime. Just hit me up, and also Ryan, see all these other folks. They're happy to talk to you as well. I know you've already talked to Barb, so hit us up. As you can see, we can talk about comics. So, all right, so
Or fake it.
let's move on to
Absolutely.
topic 2. And we again want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con and History Camp, and a big thank you to make sure I get this right, guys, because I'm just thinking New Armor Media, who is and Carlos, who's producing behind the scenes. So now what we want to do is we want to talk about reboots. And I tossed that. I'm not thinking about a specific reboot. I'm just talking about any reboots at all, broad, specific. Somebody jump in and John's chomping at the bit. Fire away, John.
First off, I want to say, can we ban Marvel and DC from doing another freaking reboot? They're doing it every time they turn around. It's like, oh no, this doesn't seem to be. Let's reboot it.
Well,
Y'all rebooted books like 6 times within the last 3 years.
well, so let me ask you a question about this then, and let's talk about this a little. Do you think that helps or hurts?
It's helped some and it's hurt others. And sometimes you overdo the reboot and you'll begin to run people off. Like I've seen the complaints with some of the reboots.
Curtis, I think your stream works better without the streaming.
It helps in the short term. It helps in the short term because people jump on and try and get number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you look at the sales figures, it doesn't help in the long term. The sales figures don't change.
So Pete, when you're saying that people jump on and get the number ones, who's doing that? Is that new readers or is that old readers going, "This is a new number one, I want it"?
So
They
that's
might get a couple of
collectors.
new readers, but I think it's just the same people just want to make sure they got the number one because number one's collectible.
Or your speculators that are
Yeah.
trying to make a quick buck.
But no, I'm not a fan of reboots. Don't get me wrong, I don't stop reading because of a reboot. I just was like, oh, okay.
So, all right.
Start
So,
again.
well, let me ask you a question though. So, you said you
Film
don't.
reboots. I hate film reboots.
I cannot say. Listen, Highlander.
Because
They're getting
just
ready to
make a
reboot
new
Highlander.
film. Just make it. Just make a new film. Just do the film.
Or here's what about this, Pete? All right, if you're going to make a reboot film, pick a bad movie and not a good one.
Yeah.
Like they're doing a Highlander reboot. Highlander is one of my favorite movies. The first Highlander, of course. Highlander is one of my favorite movies. And oh shoot, they got Superman to do it. What's his name?
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, Henry Cavill. Right. And I don't dislike the.
Did you do Highlander?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it now.
Well, see, that's the thing. Is like I don't dislike the guy, right? But I love that first movie, and so it's like, why? Why not take a bad movie and put Henry Cavill in it, and reboot a bad movie? So I'm not excited about it. Am I going to go see it? Yeah, probably, because it's Highlander, right?
Yeah.
Well, then they won.
Yeah. I'd like to see a reboot where, let's say, Marvel or DC does a reboot of a comic book, and halfway through the issue, it gets rebooted again. You know, it's like here's the new Batman, and he only lasts like 12 pages in, and then he dies, and the replacement comes in halfway through.
Another Batman. There you go.
Yeah. If you're gonna do it, go all in.
Didn't you just give New 52 a rebirth away?
Yeah. Kind of like
I
Groundhog
mean,
Day.
in the same issue. In the same issue, it has to happen. Issue 1 is also issue 1 of the other one.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
It's a flip
it'll be
book.
a flip book. So you read the first 12 pages, the character dies, and then you flip it, and there's the next reboot. You get twice the reboot for your bucks.
That's the way to do it.
Rob Davis
You
said
heard it here
reboot
first.
is a good jump on point, but it's also a good point to jump off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem, and I mentioned those two because those two companies right now in the comic industry, they're doing so many reboots,
Yeah.
and it's just wow.
Well, I think
Like we got another. I think we got another Hulk reboot coming.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the Immortal Hulk run's ending, and I think Donny Cates is doing the new Hulk run.
Wow.
So and the Immortal Hulk wasn't bad. It was actually really good. Like, why don't we just keep this going? Why are we ending this?
Well, so all right. So here's
And let's not even talk about the Spider-Man reboots.
no. Here's the thing I think we have to talk about, and I think we have to realize is that when you say, and I don't know the answer to this, John, I'm tossing this out there, is that when you say it was really good, that's fine, but what do the sales figures show?
They were some of the top sales in the industry.
Yeah, I haven't looked at Marvel and DC sales in several months. I know that they've all been sucking.
There were several times when the Immortal Hulk was outselling everything that freaking DC was doing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I can't
Including
imagine
Batman.
I cannot
Including
imagine
Batman.
Hulk being in a top 10 book.
It
No, I
was.
don't either.
It was a top 5 book. It was
Yeah,
that
really.
good because it really embraced the horror aspects. And Joe Bennett is just an awesome artist.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I
Roland,
don't. Go ahead,
Oh, sorry.
Curtis.
I would be curious if your perspective, and I hope it's not too controversial, but you were there for a reboot, which was when the Ultraverse went through the Black September and the Marvel characters came in. I colored that Black September book, but I was pretty young, and so I had no idea what was going on business wise. But you actually were part of saw a reboot from start to finish. Would you be comfortable commenting on that a little bit? 'Cause
Sure.
You have
Yeah.
a very interesting insight, and I was too young and inexperienced to understand what was going on at the time.
Well, obviously, the Ultraverse wasn't near as big as a company like Marvel and DC. That continuity, at any one given time, there are about a dozen books, something like that. I'd have to go back and count, but roughly. So for the Ultraverse reboot, it was multi-faceted. There were a lot of things to take into consideration. Number one is that the idea that people like to have a number one as a jump on point, right? And so what happened is Marvel purchases the company. Malibu says, look, now all these people know who we are. So let's give them let's reboot the line, give them a new number one. And, hopefully that will get a whole new host of consumers. The other thing is sales were declining. A lot of people, particularly those hardcore Ultraverse fans over on that Facebook group, don't like to hear that. But the sales were declining, and in fact, several of the books had been canceled or were on the chopping block. Nightman was one of them. I know Hard Case, I think, was canceled or about to be canceled. Sludge, of course, we couldn't keep Sludge on schedule. But I if you ask me, I look at Sludge and go, man, that's one of our better books. Obviously, Steve Gerber, but we just couldn't get it to sell. There was that. Another thing was licensing. So now we're in a new day and age, so don't anyone hurl barbs at me. But in the early '90s, we couldn't license Mantra when they found out that it was a man in a woman's body, right? Toy makers and all that, they would say, tell us about this. We want another female character. Oh, this is Mantra. It's actually a male warrior in a woman's body. Oh, no, we don't want that. Yeah.
So far ahead of its time.
Right, It's like, no, we don't want that. And so this is part of why we actually had to make the change because we wanted to license Mantra. We wanted to include Mantra in the cartoon. We wanted to make a toy. We wanted to do all of these things with Mantra, but we couldn't because of the particulars of the character. And so we approached Mike Barr, who was the creator. We said, hey, listen, we got to make Mantra a female, and like a real female, not a dude in a woman's body, right? And of course, Mike Barr did not like the idea, but ultimately Malibu is like, this is what we're going to do. You either get on board or someone else will. And since Barr was the creator, Barr's the one that came up with the whole idea of I think Lauren as the one who took over as Mantra. He did. I will say this: he didn't want to do it, but he did it, and so it was Mike Barr. It's not like. But it wasn't a Marvel thing. A lot of people say, oh, Marvel forced us to do that. No. That was Malibu in-house. But what Malibu was trying to do, Malibu was trying to save the ship. The Ultraverse, and of course, you got to remember, this was, middle 90s when the crash was just in the early stages. Sales all over the board were they had boomed in the early 90s where we saw the millions of copies, but they were falling hard. And if you look at numbers from Comic Buyer's Guide, thanks to John Jackson Miller, he makes a lot of those available. You can see a lot of those numbers back there, and you can see how they were declining. So a lot of it was for Malibu was how can we not kill the line? We want to still be publishing books in a year, and all of these books are declining in sales. And some might have lasted a year, some were falling faster than others. But the idea was that we need to save the whole line and move forward. There was even talk at one point in time about canceling everything but one book. Let's just have Ultra Force, and that's where any of the Ultraverse characters can be in that book. So, yeah. So I can't answer why Marvel and DC do it, other than I would suspect it's all about sales.
Yeah, it's about money, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. It is. It's all about money.
Yeah, I think the challenge with reboots always seems that nowadays, not always, but in a lot of cases, in a lot of franchises, the idea is to have the reboot, of course, to keep the old guard and bring in the new.
Yeah.
But sometimes they create new characters in these iconic worlds and settings, and the problem is to lift them up. They don't write them well or create them well. They take the legacy characters and they degrade them
Yeah.
to lift up the new ones. And it's such a cheap tactic, and it never seems to work because you alienate both sides of the fence.
Right.
Because the new character isn't likable, the old character isn't likable, nothing's likable, you know. And it just seems to be this common problem.
Yeah.
that we're seeing, you know.
Yeah.
You know, but
While you guys are chewing on reboots a little bit, I will tell you this. More than one person has asked me when I tell them about the new Cat and Mouse if it's a reboot, and I tell them no, it is not a reboot. This is not redoing anything. This is more of a continuation of the story, but it's not the same characters. And so that's where that's a reboot then. I'm like, well, no, not really. If you read the first volume of Cat and Mouse, those two characters ended the story. And they were out of the United States, right? So from my perspective, that's where they are. They're done. Their story is done. And so the Cat and Mouse that we have now, these are two brand new characters. The world around them is what really ties them to the original series. Is that we still have. Demon is still in the story. Kunoichi is still in the story. She was the one who trained the first Cat and Mouse, and she's the one who will. She's in the story. I should say that. So we have a lot of the same the same surroundings, but it's two completely new characters. So it's not a reboot. It's just more of a continuation. But I am asked that sometimes.
Was that a hard thing? Because usually when people reboot things, it's a new creative team. You weren't necessarily rebooting it, but it had elements of a reboot. Was that a challenge for you because you have to kind of manage expectations and kind of innovate off of what you've already done, and it's all up here, you know?
Yeah, it was a challenge, and there were several things that had to go into the thought process, and I'm seeing a couple of names here. A couple of questions here that actually kind of is similar to yours. Fruitbat36 says, so how do the new characters carry on the names? Is it they just fall into them, or are they aware of the history of the previous characters? I don't think that would be telling too much to answer that question. If you're familiar with the original Cat and Mouse series, the characters, Cat and Mouse, Tooth and Nail, Skull and Crossbones, these were all named by their teacher. Now, I'm pretty sure if we get the Kung Fu Master in here talking about it, he'll like, yeah, that's not the way it works. But they were all named by their teacher, and so I'm gonna keep that. She is going to be aware of the old characters, but the new Cat and Mouse are not aware of the old characters at all. They are not aware of the history. And in fact, I think there was a line in the third issue where Demon says something to about them. It's like, you remind me of somebody, right? Which was a kind of a nod to the original characters. Fruitbat36 says, so the sensei will attribute the names. Yes. That's correct. The names will come from the teacher, from the sensei.
In terms of reboots, I was just talking to some friends the other night, and I heard something about what I feel is not the way to do a reboot, or a continuation of a story, which is, I don't know if you saw online, but they were talking about a new Star Wars TV series coming out, and the showrunner actually said, I've hired nobody that has seen Star Wars before to write this new TV series. Our writers' room is strictly
Are they proud of that?
Yeah, she goes, it is strictly formed of people who are not Star Wars fans and who haven't seen the Star Wars movie before I hire them, because I want them to have new ideas and a new perspective on things. And to which my response is, how do they know that they're not treading over old ideas if they haven't seen Star Wars and if they're not familiar with the material? And she said something like online to the effect of, yeah, they're not going to be bogged down by terminology or, you know, those kind of things.
Oh boy.
The fans would be. So,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and it was just like,
Right.
oh, that hurts, you know.
Oh, you know, that's horrible. That's
Right?
horrible. You know, before I say too much more, hey, Roby, you want to share?
I was just going to ask you.
okay. Yep.
Let's do it.
Yep. All right, get it.
Mhm.
Make it happen. So one of the things that you know, because I teach creative writing, so one of the things that that I always tell the writers is that, so this all spawns from a time, probably around 2007 or 8, something like this. I was at a writers conference, and I had just given a presentation on Protagonist or whatever, and somebody asked me the question.
You see?
I'm still
Yeah.
still see
Aha.
Tommy.
There he is.
Oh yeah,
Looking
I
good.
see it on our screen.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh
Good
yeah,
there.
yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. So I see it here, and Carlos will get it on the stream here in a second. But anyway, so he started telling me the story and about the sand planet and all this kind of stuff. He went into a lot of different stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's a little bit like Dune, huh? And he's like, what's Dune?
Oh, no.
And I'm like, okay, so you're going to be a science fiction writer and you don't know what Dune is? And so, long story short, one of the things that I really try to hammer into my students is like, look, if you're going to participate in a genre, you need to be aware of the genre, right? You can't go be a horror writer and having never read Stephen King, right?
Or Dean Koontz.
Or Dean Koontz, right? Now you ain't gotta like them, right? But you can't go and be a horror writer and not be familiar with the names of that genre. You just can't, because no one will take you serious, right? Why are you smiling, Curtis? You're chomping at the bit to say something.
Well, no, I mean it's the same thing in the martial arts world. You know, I do a martial arts style that's pretty old, right? Because China, one of the longest standing civilizations without any, with the same continuity,
Right.
And God
reboots.
bless God bless MMA and more modern interpretations of the art, but they will use the exact same moves and will say, well, this is they'll talk about what I do as traditional, and they'll say, well, that's not effective or it doesn't make sense. Like, why do you call this the tiger claw or the snake coming out of the cave or whatever? And what it is if you look at it for what it is, it's the same maneuvers. It's just packaged differently, So in MMA, they have something called the Superman punch, where they jump in the air and punch somebody, and it looks like Superman flying.
Yeah.
and centuries from now, somebody will look back and go, Superman, that's ridiculous. What does that mean? And you have to put it in that cultural context of where we were, But it's just like you're saying, if you don't know where you come from, not only do you not know where you're going, you're going to reinvent the wheel and waste a lot of time.
Oh yeah.
By you want to stand on the shoulders of giants. So why not look at what's been done before and see people that figured it out instead of going back to sticks and stones? Why not embrace the wheel that's already been invented? So that's why I was nodding. I couldn't agree more with what you're saying.
Well, do you think this is? Do you think some of this may be part of what's the problem with the reboots? Do you think maybe the people who are rebooting it don't really know the history, so they just say, "Well, let's just reboot it so we can make up our own"?
Well, I think it's all intention, right? In other words, all of you can tell as creators who are good at your craft, or even as an audience member, when something's sincere, when something's done with love and passion. And if you've ever performed in any fashion for anything, whether it's music or dance or anything like that, there's this connection that the audience has. They can tell when you're faking it. They can tell when you're sincere, when you mean what you say. And a reboot, more often than not, doesn't have that sincerity. It comes across, it's a cash grab. There are occasions where there are a reboot, and what I think is a good one is the Batman Beyond TV series. I never thought I wanted a new Batman, but the Batman Beyond TV series did a great job of kind of doing that. It was sincere. And
So what made you
I just think
watch
it has
it?
to do with the intent.
You knew it was a reboot, right? So
it's,
what made you watch it?
yeah. Well, I usually give it a try, and I guess that's probably kind of goes like what you're saying about how first issue. So I'll give it a try. It looks cool, looks different. What made me stay is it had a new character, a new setting, but it honored the legacy character, and had things in a different light, but it was still not too different, So
Yeah.
I think they did it, and it was very sincere. They were fans of what they were rebooting, and I think that brings across the word deconstruction, right? Deconstruction is that catchphrase. I'm
Yeah.
like I'm making this comic book. It's a deconstruction of Superman, So now
Oh.
Superman is an inmate at a federal prison. I don't know how it's no longer the case, or somebody deconstructs potatoes and they blend it into a liquid and you drink it. That's not potatoes anymore. So,
Yeah.
but I think deconstruction and reboots.
Look at the look on John's face. John's like,
Right?
Gross.
Am I right, John?
what? What are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
Jackson Rennick is in the house. Jackson, good to see your name on the screen, buddy. Star Wars got to have some kind of references to work off of. Yeah, he's right. That's what he's talking about. If they've not seen Star Wars, then how the heck are they going to do it? How are they going to make an X-wing fighter look like an X-wing fighter?
Yeah, it's like I'm going to
Yeah.
open an Italian restaurant without ever eating Italian food, and I'm just going to use what people describe to me Italian food tastes like. That's how you get egg noodles and ketchup from marinara.
Yeah. Fruitbat36 says a lot of the reboots remove the essence of what made the characters great, and I agree. I think that's kind of what Curtis was saying a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So what if you're gonna reboot something? So let's think of this. What's a good reason to reboot? Is there a good reason to reboot?
There has to be a story to tell, right? I mean, there has to be a story that merits the reboot. There has to be something that the old characters, something they haven't experienced that has to be told, and has to be something for the new characters to do. And if there's no story, if you're just rebooting for sake of rebooting, I think that's the problem, right? It has to be a new type of story. That's my thought.
Well, would you consider Frank Miller's Dark Knight? That's a reboot, isn't it, of Batman?
Well, okay, let's sit there for a minute. Is it a reboot, or is that Frank Miller just saying, okay, we know Batman, let's project the future of let's skip all of these years and let's look at what the future of Batman's going to be. So is that a reboot, or is that
It sort of changed the direction of Batman, though, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
After Batman, everyone tried to. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't an intentional reboot, but it sort of did reboot that character.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a continuation of the story, but a reboot of the genre.
Yeah.
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 Well, how far how far after the book is ended that they do another, edition of the book? Is that considered a reboot, or is it just, somebody picked up, Batman ended. I mean, not that Batman would ever end, but, say it ended, and then all of a sudden, 5 years later, they made another Batman book. Is that a reboot, or is that just another story? Or is it a reboot like, you get to issue 15 and it's just the sales are terrible. Let's just, issue 16 is actually going to be issue 1, and let's just change everything and reboot it. So when is it a reboot and when is it just, another book?
Yeah.
I think reboot would be when it resets continuity. When you don't
When it's just
observe all
totally
the
the characters,
continuity.
everything's different. Yeah.
Yeah, like the New 52 was like, the themes are there, but the continuity has changed. So I don't know what anybody else's thoughts are, but that's what I would think a reboot is.
Yeah. Fruitback said, when you remove the roots, then you no longer have the same idea you started with. You have a new character, and nobody has a reference point anymore. The history is too convoluted. And so I agree. Here's why I think it's a mixed bag. Is it because as a kid, right? I was a Marvel zombie.
Mhm.
I read Teen Titans just because Teen Titans, George Perez, right? Um, but I didn't read any DC books, mostly because I couldn't figure it out. I could look at them, I don't understand, how is Batman here and here? How is this character here and this here? I don't understand how it was too confusing for me, right? So when DC did their Crisis on Infinite Earths, I'm like, oh, they're gonna put everybody together in one world. Okay, I'll jump on. That's
Yeah.
when I started buying a whole lot of DC books. But it wasn't until that point, because I didn't know all the and part of the problem was, DC's been going on since the 1940s, and here I am reading in the 70s, late 70s, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't have 30 years of continuity. I can't follow all the different worlds that's going on. I just give me one world, and I think that's what drew me to Marvel, is that they all existed in the one world. So that when Crisis happened, I was like, yep, okay, I'm on, and that's when I jumped on board. Well, okay then.
Agreed.
Can I add? There's too many Femme Lakitas. When I was a kid, that was like one of my favorite movies, and then they just redid it and redid it and redid it.
Really?
Yeah, it just seemed like it was a really cool movie. And then I feel like I got bored of the entire story after a certain point. It just like your fan status goes away. It's like, okay, too many attempts at making this person.
Well, let me ask you a question then. That kind of begs the question about the reboots. Then is that so if they do what Fruitbat suggests, they remove the roots, then it's no longer the same character, right? And you're not interested. But if they're just retelling the same story, are you interested in hearing that same story again, slightly different?
No. Like what I like TV show wise, that not everyone likes it, but I like the Handmaid's Tale. How they handle that. They took the idea that was contained in the book, and it wasn't that big of a world, and they made it an entire, different trajectory based off of it. I thought that works as a reboot. It's like, okay, you change the reality a little bit to fit, to expand it. Then it's interesting. Then there's creative input. It takes my interest that originally was there, and it fuels it to continue with it.
Yeah.
That's where I go.
Yeah. So what about distance? So what I'm talking about here is that so we talked about like DC reboots, how they just seem to come every 6 months, and then we also mentioned Highlander, and Pete was very quick to say, oh, I'll see it, right? Highlander, the initial movie was what, 1986, something like that.
Yeah.
So so you're talking what, 34? I can't do that. Somebody do math for me. 86 is what?
Too long.
Yeah, a long time. 40 years, right? 86, 96. Is that right?
It's your
96,
kids'
06,
generation movie.
16.
It's introducing the idea to a whole new audience.
Well, and and then there's that other thing. So 35 years, right? Ish. So that movie was new and good 35 years ago, and I've already said I'll probably go see it, even though I don't have a whole lot of interest in the reboot, just because I love the first one. But it has been 35 years, right? That's one of those movies that I'm made my kids watch. As a dad, you're like, okay, we're gonna sit down and you are going to watch these movies, right? the one of the first movies when my kids turned 15, one of the first movies I made them watch was Blazing Saddles, right? I'm like, that Monty Python and you know, stuff like that. Well, this is one of those movies. It's like you're going to watch this movie because it's really good. And I realized watching it with them is that the special effects, they're 1980s, right, and all the
Yeah.
stuff is you know, and so they're not as impressed with that as I was in 1986, right? Or whenever it was. So yeah, I mean, I can more understand a Highlander reboot than the new DC reboot. Fruitbat 36 said, but then Marvel X-Men went nuts. He was talking about when I was talking about the continuity. Jackson says, Spider-Man, we didn't need 3 retellings of Spidey's origin. I totally agree. Absolutely.
And that's one of my favorites too.
Yep.
Why do we need to get? Let's just
Stop
go.
killing
Let's
Uncle
just-
Ben.
That's right.
Yeah. Leave him alone.
He's dead already. Come
Well,
on.
I will say
He's
this about
already
the X-Men reboot, that at least all the continuity that they had out there, they managed to pull it together and streamline it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually, the new X-Men is amazing.
Oh, it is?
A lot of people kind of complained about Mortimer Taggart actually being
I thought that was genius.
a type of mutant, but that actually worked out to explain different timelines and all this
Yeah.
other stuff.
Is this the current X-Men?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what the House of X and Powers of X.
Mm-hmm.
It was introduced in that, and it's kind of where it's kind of gone now. It gave a way to explain all the different timelines and different different things that have happened to the X-Men,
Right.
and then kind of bring it into what we have now.
Oh, cool. So they're kind of tying together all the loose ends.
Right, that's what
Yeah.
Hickman did, and some people are like, well, that sounds so much like this other story here. And I was like, okay, so it sounds familiar to you, so obviously that sold, and you read that, so why wouldn't you freaking read this?
Right. Yeah. Fruitbat says, well, you can also reboot to try and capture a new audience, but then take the essence of the original and tweak it for the modern time. As mentioned, Batman Beyond, a new audience is a new generation. Yeah, I agree, and I think that's and again, I think that makes more sense for something like the Highlander. You know, I dare say all of us but one probably saw that in the theaters on the stream tonight. I think
Yeah, who
Pete's the
didn't?
youngest of the bunch.
I've seen it and I love the first one, but I
Oh.
certainly didn't see it in a cinema.
Yeah.
I know I feel really old after last week, so
I think the only reason I watched it was because it had Sean Connery in it.
Oh yeah.
Good
Yeah.
Love Sean
reason.
Connery.
Oh, he's great in that movie.
What's he
Haggis?
called?
What's Haggis? He was
I
He
know
was
who you're
Spanish,
talking about
wasn't
just
he?
from that
yeah,
line.
the
That is
Spanish
sad.
peacock. Yeah, he's Spanish
so
peacock.
I know exactly who you're talking about just off the line. That is sad. Sad.
Yeah. So it's
It proves it's a good movie though,
Right.
if you know that line, right?
yeah, and
Oh, it's
and
a
you
very
know
good film.
yes, and you know of course the other thing is that you know as a huge Queen fan,
Here we go.
the movie is made even better by the soundtrack.
Sure.
Jackson says Highlander series kicked butt. Yeah. You know, I didn't see the series, but I
I
heard
like
good
the
things
series
about it.
too.
I
It was
you know,
all right.
I don't like some of the
I watched it.
spin-off movies that they did from the series.
Oh, well, now the second movie was terrible.
Oh my
Oh, it's
god!
horrific. The
I
Quickening,
wouldn't
right?
even use it as
You
a
know-
coaster.
So wait, which is the
You know,
maybe
that was the one
maybe
with the aliens. The second one.
Oh, Lord.
The
Oh, the third
aliens.
one, wasn't it? A fourth one.
Well, they said that the Highlanders were essentially like aliens in the second one.
Oh, that's
oh yeah.
Fun fact: I really wanted when I got married, I wanted to have it so that when my wife put the ring on the hand, I wanted us to have like air blasters, and I would act like I had the quickening, and we put on like strobe lights. You know, when I got, and she
Oh
was
my
all
God,
for
that's
it.
awesome.
what did she
She was
say?
all for it
No.
until she realized that I was serious. She's like, "You're serious?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Nah, not gonna happen."
No.
But it would have been awesome. It would've been awesome. But
This
that's
is
Man.
my wedding,
but I do-
Curtis. My wedding. You're just here.
You're
But we compromised when we were leaving the wedding, you know, from the
you
ceremony. I
compromised.
got
It
them to
didn't
put-
happen. That's what happened.
Like, I got we got the guitars to play the Dragon Ball theme song as we were leaving the wedding procession.
Oh.
And you did
Oh,
that.
that's
that's
cool.
not bad, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
I did in fact, here's my Dragon Ball wedding ring, just so you guys can see. It has the Dragon Ball in the center of my wedding ring. So that's how we roll in this household. Just to let you
Oh.
guys
that's cool. What? You know, when BJ marched down the aisle, she was going. She marched in the aisle to Brian May's version of the wedding procession from Flash Gordon.
Mhm.
She
Awesome.
really did.
That's awesome.
I brought it up to her.
Well played, sir.
And
Well
I
played.
did not think she would go for it, but you know, I'm like, she's like, well, what do you want? I want this, you know, because she was picking out flowers and all this other stuff, and I was like, yeah, I want them pretty, you know, what kind of flowers do you want? I want pretty ones. I didn't care what kind, right? And sure enough, she was like, okay, let me hear it. And so I had the CD and they played the whole music procession. When I mentioned it to we got married in the church. When I mentioned it to the church, they're like,
yeah.
like
How did that
Queen?
go?
And they're like, we need to hear that first. I'm like, it's just the wedding procession with electric guitars. That's all it is. And they listened to it and they're like,
That's
yeah, okay. So sure
What
enough,
did they think Freddie Mercury was popping on there talking about his Friday night stand?
Yeah. But so yep. She marched down the aisle to the Brian May's electric guitar. It was very cool. You know, Roby, I forgot to ask
Yeah.
you when we switched
That's
over
awesome.
Uh-huh.
So cool.
what you're coloring. So
Oh yeah, let
as
me
we
talk about
wrap
that.
up here, yeah. What have you been watching you color?
So this is one of the pages of Champion and Miss Fury, the Silverline team up, and it's pretty special.
Hello.
So we have
I know.
yeah, hi.
Sorry.
If you'd like to make a call.
So we have Champion. He's completely covered in artillery, and he's a little dubiously getting dropped on by Pistol and them, our villains in this series. So it's interesting. Well, they are coming for him, that's for sure.
Yep.
Okay. I like it a lot. So, I hear whispering.
He's talking to somebody in the background.
Yeah.
Are they trying to reach you about your car?
Yeah, buy my car warranty, right? No.
Did you buy
I-
the extended warranty?
when I heard who it was, I'm like, that's BJ calling. I need to at least let her know that. Hey, I'm still on the
You muted
stream. What are you
Roland.
doing? Aren't you listening? Aren't you paying attention?
Nice.
So,
Anyway.
am I still muted?
No.
We're not
Okay,
muted.
good. Oh,
We hear you.
all right, good.
Wait, we
I
heard
didn't
you
hear
while
my-
you were talking.
No, you didn't. Did you really?
There you are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we did.
You're back.
Yeah, you're in trouble, mister.
Ah!
Well, you didn't let me say thank you, Peter. This is looking so amazing, and thank you, Tommy. I have you here. So
Yeah. Yeah.
You're doing a great.
whatever, right?
It's looking really good.
I just make it up as
this-
I go along and then hope it comes together.
When
I just love that I remember seeing this back when Pete was doing the layouts and the roughs and before the characters even had costumes.
remember the underwear page, right?
That whole instance. So it's cool to see it.
Yeah, we had that last week.
And
Great.
We had that
so,
last week. Yeah.
so what happened there was you hadn't designed the outfit yet, so it was just a stand-in in underwear.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? That's awesome.
Yeah.
the way I draw everything, I draw naked people.
Yeah,
so
mannequins, right?
I've got to make it interesting for myself.
Of course.
So I draw naked people. And then we go from there.
Sounds
Yeah.
like fun.
Yeah. He's been reading Faust lately.
There's
And,
someone special on the rooftop here.
Yeah, that's right. And
So,
that's
Roland,
yes.
is this? Are we still thinking about kickstarting this one next month? Is that what?
Yes.
the
Yeah,
deal is?
Yeah.
Let's talk
Yep.
about
Ooh.
that.
Yep.
Curious.
Nice.
Yep. So
Nice.
So
Right.
when did I say this is June 7th?
Yeah.
We're close
Yeah.
enough to. Yeah, we're
27th.
close
Yes.
enough.
Closing
We're close
the-
enough to the end here. We should finish this before we actually launch.
Mhm.
So so the plan is for the July Kickstarter is to have this issue and Bear #1, which if you've been watching any of the Wednesday stream, you've seen Haley Martin doing some of the artwork on that. That one is last I saw was about half lettered, and I think she's still got about 2 pages left to do on that one as well. So both of these should have no problems wrapping up in the next couple of weeks and before we launch, which is what we do, right? When we do our
Mhm.
Kickstarters, we make sure the books are finished so that we don't have
Right.
any problems
Mhm.
shipping them out, because we have all heard backers be very upset that they don't get their books when promised, and I am very, very happy to say we are 10 for 10. Is it 10 for 10? 11 for 11. I can go back and look. We haven't fulfilled the last one, but we're still on time. We're not actually, we're not late yet. We're still looking fantastic. So I think we're 10 for 10. It might be 11 for 11, but either way, we like to say, and I know that we've got a handful of our backers who have echoed that as well. I've seen it on Twitter some. Thanks to Kirk Spencer for being shouting us out frequently about that. As we deliver, when we tell you we're going to deliver. We hope you like the books. That's part of it, but we definitely deliver them to you when we say we're going to deliver. So yeah, Roby, that will be. Thank you for lobbing that softball to me. We're going to kickstart those 2 books in July, and let me see if I can find my calendar.
Awesome.
I will tell you the targeted date for that.
Okay.
But I gotta open my calendar and tell you. So that targeted date, it says May, is July the 8th. So,
Oh, it's my birthday.
oh wow!
Well, happy
Wow.
birthday!
Happy birthday in July on July
I
8th.
know.
What a way!
Happy birthday. That's awesome.
Now everyone who wishes you a happy birthday on social media, you could say thank you. Go buy my book.
I will be. Absolutely.
That's a great way to sell it.
I'm going to say Roland said he was going to make me rich. This is your chance.
I'm still scouring my emails looking for that one. I can't remember which email that was in, Pete. Okay, so yeah, so that's the next Kickstarter, current Kickstarter. All the books are at the printer. Tommy says that they're all in good shape. I did have one tweak that I sent you, Tommy. I trust you got that in good shape, right?
Yes, I've already
Okay.
put them in. Yep.
Excellent. So yeah, hopefully Tommy says we'll talk, but we're looking within the next 10 days or so ish.
Absolutely.
So well within our targeted date for
Yeah,
to get
well,
the,
we'll
to-
go back
to-
again to seeing, somebody printed a preview copy so they can read up on it. Did you know, you want to know what happens to Divinity? I can tell you right now. Let me say,
But you won't.
hey Carlos, if you can hear me, get a close up of Tommy there as he's reading that.
oh, they all die.
I was going to say
Oh,
that.
no.
Yeah.
They
That's what I
all
heard.
die. Wait a minute, Steam Patriots, Steam Patriots.
Hold that book up so we can see it there. Yeah, look at that. It's a good looking
There's
cover by
the-
Dean.
It looks
Yeah.
great.
And myself, I did this one.
Dean and Barb, and
Yeah.
Nice.
I think Barb even colored that one, didn't she?
Oh,
Yeah, I think Barb- I
Yeah.
think yeah. Barb colored that one, and I think Mickey colored the
no,
other
it
one.
says Mickey colored it, so I hope.
Oh, okay.
That's what it says on there. You may
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
check
yeah.
before we run them.
Okay.
Oh no, they did die.
You
Look,
know-
there it is, right there. You see, they all died. Okay, everybody's dead.
So like except for Pete, I'm like Pete. Like Pete, I get Pete pencils and I put the folder Pete. When Tommy inks it, I was like Pete.Tommy. Roberta colors it Pete.Tommy. And that's what the files are called in my folder, so that I'm like, okay, this way I don't forget who did it.
Well, that works.
Yeah, it works. It helps me keep everything straight. So, all right. So, yeah, those are the Kickstarter updates. Don't forget, make your plans for Daytona Beach. There's a whole host of us going to be there. Check out History Camp, which is coming up here July 10th, I think. Make your plans to attend that. Where can folks find you, Curtis? Online. Where can folks find you online?
Oh, okay. There's two ways. I have my. Sure. Folks can find me online. If you're interested in my martial arts program, you can find me at tigercrane.net. We have all our social media links there. If you're interested in my comic book, you can find it at Instagram and Facebook, Shadow Ghost Comic, one word. That's where you can find me.
Nice. Roberta, what about you? Where can folks find you online?
You can look me up on Facebook or Instagram under Roby Conroy, and that's where you can find me.
All right. What about you, Pete? Where can folks find you?
They can find me on the interweb by typing in Peter Clinton Art. Yeah. It'll take you everywhere that I'm on the social medias.
Did you ever get that domain?
Oh, no.
You gotta get it, dude.
No.
You gotta get it.
JustApencilor.com.
JustApencilor.com. John, what about you? Where can folks find you online?
Pretty much anywhere and everywhere. I'm somewhere in some way, form, or fashion with John Martin, the Artistic Viking, or I think there's one iteration where it says the Viking Prince Voltan. But Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm not posting often there, but I am.
Tommy doesn't TikTok.
And I just post pencils all the way through the inks.
Yep. Nope.
I'm not dancing like Tommy is.
You're not gonna be twerking?
No.
Tommy, what about you? Where can folks find you online?
Just go to infernostudios.com. You can find all of my stuff there, or I am on Facebook. It's Florimonte is spelled Florimonte, just kind of like it sounds, but everybody still spells it wrong. So they try to make it sound like it. They add a bunch of letters that aren't there. So just look up Thomas Florimonte. That's
I thought you
I'll be
spelled
there.
it. I thought you spelled it Bustamove.
Bust a move. Whoop, 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 whoop. And then I am on TikTok. It's Tommy Don't TikTok, and but I
Is
don't
there-
post anything there, so don't go.
Is there an apostrophe in that and don't?
Oh, you know what? I misspelled it apparently. Well, there you go. I misspelled. I can't spell. Anybody that's read anything that I've wrote realizes I can't spell.
And don't forget, behind the scenes is Carlos with New Armor Media. Carlos, you want to jump on and say hi or bye or anything, or are you good to go? Or you just, all right. So check out Carlos and New Armor Media. Get your own show produced and join the streaming masses online. And I'm Roland. You can find me at rolandman.me, as well as all the other appropriate social medias. And you know how we end this, folks. Don't forget we've got this is Sunday. Don't forget we've got a Tuesday stream. That's trying to cater a little more to the West Coasters. That starts at 11 p.m. Yeah, we did Roberta. Didn't we? I didn't skip Roberta,
No.
did I?
You didn't skip me.
No, I didn't
No,
skip Roberta.
you did me.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Curtis,
Thank
you're just
you.
lagging out, man. Shoot, you made me lose my train of thought here. Oh, Tuesday night, Tim TK and Aaron Humphreys and Quentin Bedwell, and hopefully, if my messages was right, the return of Alex Gallimore to the Silverline stream on Tuesday night. So we're excited about that. But now this one is going to be 11 p.m. Eastern, which is actually 8 p.m. for the Pacific time. So those of you who are on the West Coast, maybe this is a little easier for you to get, not exactly early in the day. And then, of course, our Wednesday Whammers will be here Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And until then, we'll see you next week. Remember to make mine Silverline. Good night, everybody.
What? Upside down.
What's going on?